Welcome to Inside the AI. I'm your host, the Data Doc, and I'm going to walk you through step by step of how to make one of these viral baby videos. But the difference between this video is we're going to make it a clipped version of a YouTube video, podcasters. And I'm going to show you how to use this workflow right here to generate these baby videos in under seconds. So linked in the description below, you can purchase this for $9, save you the time to recreate this. But in this video, I'm going to show you step by step of how to build this out. So if you have the extra time and you don't want to spend the $9, you can follow this video, and I'm going to show you what to do at certain points to customize this to fit your needs. You can also join my school community and download this. And last, if you find value in this video, please give it a like and subscribe. So this is the video it's going to create, something like this.
Imagine, you wake up, realize your superpower is literally being black. That's wild, right? It changes your whole perception, man. It's like suddenly, the world flips, you see the Matrix but from a new angle. People underestimate how much identity is like, this unexplored terrain. What does it even mean to have a superpower tied to something so primal and social? It's like suddenly finding out you can see infrared. What else aren't we seeing about ourselves?
So if you find value in this video, please give it a like and subscribe. And now let's walk through step by step what is going to happen. So the first thing we're going to have is this node right here. I have this processed already of some information. So if you see the green, I'm going to zoom in for you. So if you see the green, this is showing that some data has gone through and has passed through the nodes one by one. So what I did was I opened this node right here, which is a form. I took a picture of it so that you can see what it would look like. So what I did was, this is what comes up when you open that node. The top 4 questions you will fill out so that you can create a video of a random baby. This is one method you can create random videos. You will use OpenAI to create a random video. There's a video I have describing these steps for this. It's going to be linked in the description above. But if you want to make a video and reclip a YouTube video, you want to only fill out the bottom 3. So here I filled out the Joe Rogan experience. The host is Joe Rogan and the URL to the video you want to clip up. Now, the reason I have all this information, just so you understand, I wanted to put the podcast because if it's not a well-known person like Joe Rogan and it's a smaller podcast, this is going to give Google some context of who the person is so you can target the right person. The host, Joe Rogan, if the host isn't well known, then it will be passed through and it will be Google search for that person. And then the URL will be sent and clipped up so that you could repurpose that information. So now that information is in this survey. We can open this up and we can see that it's been passed through right here. That gets sent to our Google Sheets. Our Google Sheets is saved on our Google Drive, and anything that we create gets updated. So I have not published this video, so this is listed as no. And here's the information of what we need. So this is going to allow you to track what videos you've created and what videos you have not created. So if you notice, I've created some up here to create the other video that I just showed you and talked about. So now that information is going to be sent to the top, and this is going to be the blank information. So because this is going to end up being a null value, it's going to get dropped off and it's not going to get processed up here. So as long as you leave those blank, you won't process anything on the top. Now on the bottom, it gets processed, and those 3 lines of data, those 3 strings that we've sent through, it's listed here on the left, and then it gets passed through on the right. So what this node is doing is it's dropping off any of the null values. So it's only going to pass through the information that we send that has information. So we're not sending blank information for no reason. So inside of that, we have 2 lines of information, and they're getting routed. So when we go to the next node on the top, this has 2 rows of information. All right, so all three of those rows of information are going to get passed to the top set of nodes, and all three are going to be passed to the bottom set. So the top set, which is highlighted in blue, is going to generate the picture and the video for the baby. Bottom is going to clip up the YouTube video, and then it's going to create the audio file to go with the baby video. That information is going to be passed along, and we'll talk through step by step what's happening. So focusing on creating the baby video, we want to use SERP API. And later on in the step-by-step guide, when we get to this point, I'm going to show you how to link all of the API keys, and I'm going to explain what SERP API does. But essentially what we're doing here is we're passing through this information, so the Joe Rogan experience and Joe Rogan, to a query. SERP API does a Google search. So here we're going to search the Google images. So if you go to Google and then you click the tab of images, this is what it's searching. So we're downloading an actual image of Joe Rogan. And here is the query. So we're telling it to search the internet. And then this is what's going to be passed through: Joe Rogan experience. And then we're telling it the region. So when we do that, it's going to pass that to Google, and it's going to download an image. That image is going to be sent to OpenAI. And what's going to happen in OpenAI is this is going to be where it creates the baby video, the baby image. And what's going to happen is we're giving it the prompt. We're feeding it back through the image of Joe Rogan and the podcast and what was downloaded from SERP API. With that image, it's going to be passed through, and it's going to API to OpenAI again and download the file. It's going to be sent up to Hydra. All of that information is going to be merged, and then it's going to be sent to be merged up here with the audio file. Down here, what's happening is we have an edit node, and this edit node has a prompt that's going to be passed through to Google AI Studio. And essentially what this prompt is doing, it's giving the prompt to clip up the video verbatim, and it gives it timestamps, and it gives you the reason why you should repurpose this. You can modify this, and you can tell it how long you want it to be. You can say you want the timestamps to be longer. You can have them shorter, but this is where you would modify some of it. This is where you would modify it to fit your needs of how long you want that clip to be. Again, you do have to understand the limitations with Hydra and any of the AI models. So here we're passing through the model of what we're going to use in Google, and then we're telling it the model to use. That information gets sent to Google, and inside of Google, it's going to repurpose that YouTube video. Here we have what it's going to API to. Down here, we're passing through the text, which is the prompt. And this prompt is telling it to clip it to smaller videos. And not the videos, but smaller audio files. Then we pass through the URL. So it says, clip this up, and here's the URL of what we want you to clip. And it does that, and this is the output to the left. Now the output to the right is the entire video transcribed and clipped up into smaller sections. More importantly, it gives you the reason for the rationale. So this creates curious and engaging viewers to watch the full video for a recap. This information from the Google Studio is going to be passed through the edit nodes field. And what's going to happen in this edit nodes field is it's going to drop all of the data that doesn't really matter that's going to be passed through. And it's only going to allow the text from the transcripts to be passed through. So if you're working on this, now we have a chunk of information, and these are the clips that Google Studio has recommended for you. They tell you how many clips there are. There's clip 5. It gives you some information. It gives you the timestamps inside the video. It gives you all the information you would need. The challenge with this, though, is that this is not usable right now. So the next node is going to help us in this step. This code right here, is going to take this information, and it's going to split it. It's going to split it at each clip. So clip 1, and then it tells you the timestamp, and it gives you the information. It also gives you the timestamp here in a separate array. And then it tells you the rationale of why you should use it. And now this information we can pass through and put it through, we can put it through the AI so that it can be pushed to Hydra and it can be reclipped. So once we complete that, it's going to be passed through and generate the audio file. And that information is going to be sent and merged up here. One challenge that I've run into is downloading the audio file. So in full transparency, this file right here will force you to go to 11 Labs and generate a voice. Now, if Joe Rogan's voice or the podcast person is on 11 Labs and you can use their voice, then go ahead and do that. My next video of what I'm working on is how can I download the audio file so that we could use that and use their actual audio file and pass that through as a reclip version. So stay tuned for that. I'm working on that and hopefully that'll be completed by the end of the week. But you do have to pass this through 11 Labs. It gets sent up and merged all together. Over here, the image and the video and the audio file are merged together. The data from the code node is passed through Hydra, where it combines everything and makes the video. Then we download the video over here. Now, this is an important step. If you're going to post this into TikTok, YouTube, any of the social medias over here that I have deactivated, I have YouTube deactivated. I don't want to routinely post these things to YouTube as I'm creating them, so I deactivate it. The file that is submitted here is a file that is not accepted by any of the social media sites. So the workaround for that is this Google node setup right here. You want to upload it to Google and then you want to re-download it. The reason you want to do that is because it allows the file to be reconverted to an MP4. And so it being an MP4, most or all of the social media sites will take that file and allow you to upload it. So this is an important step to note and to have in the steps. So again, linked in the description below. You can join my school community. You could download this. You can also just buy it for $9 and stay tuned for the step-by-step guide. I'm going to build out every node on the bottom of this workflow. And if you find value in this video, please like and subscribe. So when I enter my N8N environment, the first thing I want to do is go up here to create a workflow. And if you noticed, I create these videos all the time. And one of the first things I always recommend is changing this name. I have a few videos labeled baby videos, and these allow me to go back and delete them. So this is going to be baby YouTube vid, and I know to go back and delete it. So now that gets saved. And the first node I'm going to walk you through is not the first node I'm going to walk you through is not the survey method. I'm going to show you the second method, which I gave you in the workflow. The reason this is, I'm going to talk you through how this works. The first node that we're going to do is going to be a trigger node. Every workflow starts with a trigger. So let's start with our trigger. The trigger we need for this is on a schedule. So the reason we're going to do this is it's going to allow us to recreate videos. It's going to allow us to do the research of which videos we want to send in. And what we can do is we can create a list on our sheet and this workflow will work through it step by step. So I'll explain what all that means. So the triggers allow you to select the seconds, minutes, hours, days, etc. My recommendation for this is to use the hours. The reason you want to use hours is if you post every day at the same time, the algorithms are going to know you're a bot. So what you want to do is you want to use hours and then change this to 7 hours. You can make it whatever you want, 2 hours, 6 hours. But what's going to happen is one day you'll post at 8 o'clock. The next day you post 7 hours after that. The next day you post 7 hours after that. And so it changes the posting and then it seems like you're more of a person. Now you can go down here, change it to 15 so that you're not posting every day on the hour. And now this is going to make it even more realistic of how you're posting and seem more like a human. So we're working around those algorithms. The next step we're going to do is going to be a Google Sheet. This is an important step. Okay, so the Google Sheet is going to be get a row. So get rows of the sheet. And we're going to talk through what's happening here. So to connect your Google Sheets, you want to go to the Google Cloud Console. That's going to be linked in the description below. But here's our Google Cloud Console. There's many videos out there of how to set this up, but here is your projects. I'm going to walk you through really quick of how to get to your API key. First, you want to click what project you're in. The reason this is important is because you need to know which of these projects has access to Google Sheets. I'll explain what that means. So if I click my project that I'm in right now, this first project, and then I go to my API and services right here on the first, it's going to bring me to this page. And when I'm in this page, here we have our library. So this is where it's going to give us the ability to access our Google Sheet. This is where you're going to tell N8N, you have the ability to access my Google Sheets. So what you do is you write Sheets in here. Here you have Google Sheets API. You click it, and then you want to click right here. I've already done it, so it says manage, but if it was not already completed, you would have to put activate. You click this, and now this is telling N8N you have access to this sheet. So now I can go back to my API and services, and now I go to my credentials. So now that I'm in my credentials, I can click this N8N, and I can N8N, which is what I'm working in, and this will give me my client ID and my API key. So here's my client ID right here. You copy this, and you go back into N8N, create a new credential. When you set it up the first time, it's going to have a client ID. You paste it in here, and underneath it, it will have the API key. You do that, you link it to your Google, and it will allow you to access it. So I'm not going to do that, but that's how you would do it. When you do this, you want to click this right here. So what this is doing is you have to select the document. So first, you want to select from a list. You have three options. You have from a list, from a URL, and from an ID. I always select from a list because it's easiest, but there's other methods, the reasons to do this. So this list right here, we're going to go down to the baby podcast, and this is going down to the sheets. So what is happening here is N8N is going into your Google Drive and asking access to your Google Sheets. Once it goes into your Google Sheets, it's inside of your Google Sheets, and it's looking for baby podcast. So it found this title, and then it goes to the sheets. Now it's inside of your sheets, and now it's reading these rows of information here. So that's essentially what it's doing. So now if I test this out, it'll pass through the information. So now I have all the information that just went through. So now with this complete, what you would have to do here is, before you started this, what you would do is you would pass through and you would start your list of what you want to do. I would take Joe Rogan Experience and build this out. And I would take Joe Rogan and build this out. And then what I would do is I would find the YouTube videos that I want to put into here. And every day I might put 3. And it might post every day, it might post 1 video and reclip that video. But what this does is it allows it to continue to automate and do the work for you. So in automation, you want to automate things you do not want to do. So now with this complete, we want to go to the next node, which is the edit node. This edit node is going to pass through the information. So I have to click here so that it gives me more options. The thing we need to do for this edit nodes is we need to give it 3 options. So I'm going to walk you through step by step what each one is. This is going to allow it to drop the other information. So what's happening here is we're putting in the title of the array that comes through. Here we are going to paste in the bottom of each one, we're going to paste in this right here. And what this is telling it to do is, let me show you on this screen. What this is telling it to do is right here, you have this word I'm pulling. What I'm actually holding right now that says podcast show is the name. So it's reading this right here. It's not reading what is produced. It's not reading this right here. It's reading the name of this, right? So that's what we've put right here, the name. What this side is doing is it's converting that name to what is actually produced. So now this is telling you, get the name, and now this is what's produced, and it passes that through. So now you understand what is happening here. You want to turn these into expressions. And what that means is it's going to be dynamic. It's going to change with whatever is produced. If you keep it fixed, it's only going to pass through the actual name. So when we test that out, let me show you what I mean. So when you keep it fixed, this says podcast/show, podcast/show. Since this is an expression, it's going to change by whatever is inside of this. So now this is completed. To create the top, I'm just going to duplicate this. And I want you to know that there is the other video, which you can watch, of how to create the top part. Well, we're not going to focus on that, but I just want you to know that's there. The next node we're going to do is another edit node. This edit node is going to be the prompt and the model that we are going to use to pass to Google Studios. So now here's the prompt. I'm going to show you what to do. You can open this. You can take a screenshot of this. And what you can do is you can copy the image, paste it in, and say, rewrite this word for word. So now anytime in the video I say I'm stopping so you can take a picture, this is what I want you to do. So now this is verbatim what this is saying. Copy this and paste it into this section right here. If you don't want to download the JSON, this is what you have to do. The next thing you have to do is drag this in. You hit the drag method here, and then you want to type the model. This is going to pass through the kind of model that you need to use in Google Studio. So here is the model we're going to use. Now that will pass through the model. So the next step is going to be an HTTP node. And what this means is it's going to call out to the internet. And this is going to call to the Google Studios. And this is what you want to paste here. It's going to be an expression. And again, I'm going to open this up. This is where you want to take a screenshot. And then here is where you would put your API key. So instead of it ending at the equals, you want to type in your API key. So where do you get this API key? Linked in the description below is going to be a link to this site right here, Google Studios. You'll come to this site and you just put get API key, and then you can create a new API, or you can copy one you already have. You take that, come back to this video, and paste it right here. Once you do that, you don't need to authenticate because this is authenticating here. And then you want to send a header. The header we're going to send is going to be a content/type. And the type is going to be a application/JSON. So now this is what you need to put here. You want to go down to send a body. And the send a body is going to say JSON. And this is going to change to using a JSON. This is going to allow us to write the JSON file. This is going to allow us to write the JSON text in here. So here is the JSON of what we're going to write in. And I'm going to explain what this is actually doing. So now here is where you want to take a screenshot and rewrite this. And basically it's taking the prompt, saying clip this video up and putting it here in the text. And then it's giving a file type, which is the URL. And then it's saying, here's the URL we want you to clip up. Now that we have that pass to Google Studios. The next thing we need to do is the edit node. Again, this edit node is going to drop off any unneeded data coming from the left. So this is going to write as text. And what we're going to write here is this expression right here. Again, now this is where you want to take your screenshot of this and then use ChatGPT to rewrite it. Now, this is one of the more challenging parts. I'm going to show you how I did this so you can save time in the future if you're planning to do something. I use a code node, and this code node is what's very challenging to do. Remember, what this one did was it took the transcript and it clipped it up into smaller clips. So first, I'm going to show you the clip so that you can take the screenshot. And if you care to know what I did, I will talk you through what I did. So here's the screenshot. Now, what I ended up doing was, so I went to ChatGPT. One of the things that I want you to know is you need to make sure this is in 4.01. It tells you right here what they are and what they're useful for. This one is useful for coding and analysis. So make sure this is on 4.1. So now what I did was I took the clip of information up here and I pasted it in. Then I told it to write an N8N. I told it to write an N8N code to clip it up in this format of how I wanted it. And then it produced the code for me and I copy and pasted it in and it worked. So use the AI to do code, but you have to know what model to use. The next thing we need to do is an HTTP request node. And this is going to be a post node. So this is going to post information to 11 labs. So I paste in the URL to 11 labs. I don't need to authenticate. I need to send a header. In the header, what I need to send is the authentication method. So paste this in, XI API key. And then here you want to put your API key. Now this is going to authenticate us. So we need to send it a body. In the body, we're going to send a JSON and we're going to keep using the fields. This is going to change to text. And then we're going to pass through the message from the podcast. Make sure this is an expression. Again, you can take screenshots of these, or you can pass through the nodes by dragging it in. The next node is going to be Hedra. We're going to go to HTTP to Hedra. And so what this is going to do is it's going to post another post to Hedra. And here is the URL that you need to post it to. It's going to be a custom. You're going to authenticate. What we're going to need to do is go to a generic and then custom. And then you can connect your account. You want to send the body of this. And this is going to be the message you're going to send Hedra. And this is going to change to use a JSON. So now that we have the JSON down here, we have the audio file. I'm going to copy and paste this in, and then I'll let you take a screenshot of it. This is all in Hedra's document, so you can find it there. So take a screenshot of this, and this is basically saying we're passing the audio file to you. With this completed, we are done. I'm going to move this up, and we need to create another node here. This is going to be a merge node. This merge node is going to pass through two. So it's going to say two lines of information are coming in. It's going to produce one on the right side. So now we have this going like this. We need to take this and put it here. So now with this done, we have the merger. We need one more code. And I'm going to clip this in and then let you take the screenshot of it. So here is the image of what you want to take the screenshot of and have ChatGPT rewrite it. Now, moving on, we need to do one more HTTP node. This is going to be another post. This is going to be the URL. So I'm going to show you so you can take the picture. And then now we're going to go through the authentication method. Generic, custom, and now here's our custom our custom authentication method. It's already connected. Once you do it once, you're good to go. So we're going to send a body, and this body is going to change from a JSON to from data. So form data is going to be here. From data, form data is going to be here. We need to change this to the name as a file. And then the value is going to be data. So what this is going to do is it's going to pass through the actual file, the audio file, not any like lines of information. But with this completed, we have the bottom part of our workflow completed, where we clip the YouTube video, transcribe it into smaller clips, and then repurpose that and create an audio file. So now with this completed, I'm going to expand on this edit node, and I'm going to do an HTTP node. Part is going to be very unique, and I haven't seen anyone do this yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to access SERP API, and now I'm going to talk through what SERP API is. So if you know what SERP API is, you can fast forward, but what SERP API is, it allows you to do a Google search. So if I go into my Google and I search Joe Rogan, SERP API will do this. But now what we're doing is we're going into the image section. So now SERP API would allow you to access these images. Now what we have done is we've created a system where it pulls the fourth image. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and pulls this one down. So, and what I mean to pulls it down, it downloads it. So you don't have the option to select the best image unless you go in there and look. So you can do your Google search first, identify which image you want it to be, and then you can tell it to download the fifth or fourth or sixth or whichever one you want to do. I've selected every fourth one just at random. So now going into our SERP API, what we're doing here is we're telling it, here's your query. So when we go back into this, this is going to be linked in the description below. So now going back into our N8N environment, we have to authenticate. So we want to use a predefined authentication. And then I want to find SERP API. So I just type in SERP, here's SERP API. And now I have my account. Once I have my account connected, you can authenticate this. You can create a new account. All you have to do is copy your API key here, go to the SERP API, sign in, and it's going to be the first thing you see. Copy that and paste it here, and you will be connected. It's very easy. Once you do that, you want to go to the send a query. This is going to send that query to Google. So now, so now what we need to do is we need to paste the Q. But how did I get Q and how do I know this is what it needs to go? So the name, when you go to SERP API, this is the name right here. So this is telling you a search query needs to be a Q. And then you can write whatever you need it to be. So now when I go to the N8N environment, I can paste this in, and now we're sending the text through of the Joe Rogan experience or whatever it is of the podcast you're going to do. We still need to add another parameter, and this parameter is going to be the location. The reason we want to do the location is if you have someone named Sean Ryan, but you search him in Ireland, it's not going to give you really good results. So we want to target the location where we're going to do our search so we have the best results. So this is going to go back into SERP API. When you go down here, this is all the parameters you can do. What we did was we did the GL, and this means it's going to search those parameters in the US. If you click here, it gives you the list of the countries and their codes. So you'd put GL, pick the list, and if you want to search India, you can pull in the code for India and replace it in N8N. Now with this completed, we'll move to the next node. We'll make this more structured so it looks clean. The next node is going to be OpenAI. So it's going to be message a model. It's going to be a message a model node. So message a model. And my account is already connected, but to connect this account, you want to go in the link in the description below, but you just want to go into platform.openai.com, click settings, and then click API key. And then you can create a new API key. This will give you your API key and you can connect your credentials. You would just paste it in. Once you do that, you can keep this as text, model, and this needs to be 4.1. So now go to 4.1, and to have 4.1 work, you do need to make sure you verify it. So if you go back into settings, right here in the middle, you have to click verification. When you click this, it's going to send you a text message. You can verify your account and it'll give you access to this model. Once you do that, you want to paste in this prompt in. So here's your opportunity to take your screenshot. Now you do want to simplify the text and you want to keep this as JSON. So with this completed, I'm going to move on to the next node, which is going to be an HTTP node. Here is the HTTP node. It does need to be a post node. And you can take a screenshot of this and then have it rewrite it. You don't need to authenticate because we're going to authenticate in the header. And what this is going to do is you're going to type in the word authentication. Two things that you will learn really quick is that you're either going to authenticate with authentication or the X API key. If you do it this way, you do need to type in bearer space API. So then when I say API, this is your API key. So not actually API, but your actual API key from Hedra. And to get this, what you want to do is go into Hedra, and it's going to be linked in the description below. When you enter Hedra here, you want to click. So when you enter Hedra, you just click your name at the bottom, click API, and it's going to bring you your API key. You can copy this, paste it into N8N, and this is ready to go. You do need to send a body. And in this body, you need to send a model that you're going to tell Hedra to use. You need to use the model. You need to tell it what model to use. So model, and then tell it the GPT image 1 model. Add another parameter. And this one's going to be prompt. You want to send over the prompt from ChatGPT. So the OpenAI that we used a second ago created the prompt to say, create a cute baby prompt. And then the last thing we need to do is we need to tell it the size. So the size of the image being created. So here's the size, 1024 by 1536. And then that is completed. So now we have one more node to create, and then we'll move on to the end. The last node is a convert. The last node is a convert file node. And this is going to be move base64 to string. It's going to be the last one. And this node stays relatively the same. The only thing you need to put into here is this right here, data, whatever this says, copy this, paste it in, take a picture of it. Now with this completed, what we want to do is just copy this right here. Once you've created this once, you can copy these nodes and then you can paste them in. And so just like this one goes across, this one will go across here and it will go up here like this. So now with this completed, we have these nodes completed and we can merge everything together. Everything else stays the same inside of this. You don't need to change anything. So now we need to create a merge node. In the JSON you get if you purchase it in the description or in the school community, this is going to be changed to 4. The reason this is changed to 4 is it's going to allow us 4 inputs. So if I take this one will go to 3, and this one will go to 4. The reason I'm doing that is when I zoom out, I have this workflow here, which would go to 2 and 1 when this is built out. So when I show you this one, this is how it looks. This is the bottom part going into here. If you want to watch the other video, we have the top part to show you how that one worked. So now that I have that worked out, I'm going to build out a code node. This first code node is going to merge all of the data together. I'm going to copy and paste this in, and then I'll let you take a screenshot. In the essence of time, you take your screenshot, and then we'll move on to the next node. Screenshot, and now we're going on to the next node. The next node is going to be an HTTP node. And this node is going to be a Hedra node again. And this is going to be a post node. We're posting our images and everything to Hedra. Again, we need to authenticate. We want to send a generic authentication, a custom, and then we have our account connected because we've already connected it. We need to send the body. The body of it is going to be a JSON, and then using JSON, and then this is going to be what you want to type in here. Again, this is from the Hedra document, so it's not anything that we've created proprietary, but this is essentially telling it what video you're making a video, the type. It could be an image, it can be a video. You're telling it the ID of the model. So this is telling it which model to use. Again, this is important because there's different models that do better work at different tasks, and also they cost differently. So this will save you money. The last part is passing in the image ID. So this is the downloaded image, sends in, and then the audio file that gets sent in, and then it tells it what to do. Merge these together and create the video. So now with this completed, we have this node complete, and we can move to the next one. The next node is going to be a wait node. Now, the reason we have this is so that we're not hitting any rate limits. So I changed this to 15. And now this is going to go through. It's going to wait 15 seconds, and then it'll pass it through to the next Hedra account. So when you're accessing Hedra, you don't want to overwhelm it. So it's going to be another HTTP. And this is going to be a get one. So this is the first one that's different. So now we've given it a lot of information. We've posted a lot of information to Hedra. Now we're asking it to give us back some information. So now the first thing we need to do is send the header. We want to use the fields below, and we're going to have the name as the X API key. Now, again, there's only ever seen this and authentication. And then here you want to put your API key. Now, going on to the next thing, that's all you have to do. And it's going to know to download your video. So now what we need to do one more time is another wait. And now you can do 15 seconds, or you can do a couple minutes, whatever you want to do to give it some time. But you don't want it so fast that it messes up Hedra. So now we have the HTTP. And this is going to be a get method again. And now we're telling it to get the actual file. So we've told it to get the file, and now we're telling it to get the actual JSON asset. It needs to be an expression. And now we're downloading the actual file. And so what we need to do for that is we need to click add a response and then click response here. And now don't click any of these on, but you do need to change this to a file. We're telling it to get a file. Keep this as data, and this is completed. Now with this complete, we have the file and it's downloaded in N8N. We have an actual video and audio file, like an MP4 file, except it doesn't give you an MP4 file. So what you need to do is you need to go to Google Drive. And you need to type upload a file. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow you, you connect your account, upload the file. It's going to upload a data file of an audio and video file. Once I do that, I need to download the file. So now, instead of upload, we need to go to download. And to do this, you need the name of the file. Here is the name of the file. So now you copy this, you paste it in. So now with this last one completed, this is an important step. This is going to be our Google Drive, our Google Sheets. And in this Google Sheets, we need to update or append a row. And what this is going to allow us to do is on our Google Sheet, if you have a long list of videos you want to create, when you go to reiterate this, and on the very first one that we do, it's going to read this column here. And it's going to say yes, 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 yes. No, it's blank. So this is the one I need to send. So this is going to update this and write in yes. So now with this completed, I'm going to select the file, Baby Podcast, Sheet 1. There's only one sheet. Everything is going to stay blank, except I'm going to write yes. So now this stays the same of what was passed through before, except now we're saying yes, this is completed. Last thing you can do is you can go to YouTube and you can upload a file. Upload the playlist. It will send it through and it will process and upload your video. So again, I want to thank you for watching this video. It is a longer video. It is very detailed. You can buy this JSON for $9, so you can save your time. But if you want to go step by step and you don't have the $9, I understand. I've tried to provide everything so that you can recreate this and you can join my school community. So thanks for watching. I'm the Data Doc. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.